the stadium there, as you can see. And of course, tonight we are playing Atletico Madrid, and this is the first ever meeting between City and Atletico in European competition, but the fourth between the respective managers of the two clubs. Now, City have won 3 of their 4 meetings with Spanish clubs in the Champions League under Pep. The only meeting with the Spanish side in the knockout stages, though, of the competition came under Pep in 1920 when we beat Real Madrid in the round of 16. We've only lost 1 of our last 9 Champions League games beyond the group stage, and I don't need to remind you where that defeat came. Thank you so much for joining us on Match Day Live. My name is Natalie Pike, and you know it's a big day. You know it's a big game, because we're giving you not 1 guest, not 2 guests, but 3 legends of the game are joining me today. Shaun Wright-Phillips, Trevor Sinclair, and David James. Welcome to you all. Hello.
Hello. Good to be here.
Like a boy band sat there. It's lovely. We're not going to be asking them to sing, though. We are going to be going straight to the team news. This is the first place to get your team news. And there are 3 changes to the team that beat Burnley at the weekend. So it's Edison, and then Stones is back in the team. Laporte, Ake, Cancelo, Rodri, De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan is captain, Silva, Sterling and Riyad Mahrez. That is your starting 11 for today. Looking at your subs bench is Stefan, Carlson, Jesus, Grealish, Zinchenko, Fernandinho, Foden, Egan Riley and Mbete. So that is your subs bench for today's Champions League quarter final. So we're going to go straight to the guests to find out what they think about the changes and the starting 11 for today. So we'll go along the line and get first thoughts. Shaun, what do you make of that team?
How can you not make anything of that team? I think whichever team Pep feels at the minute is just full of quality, elite players playing at a fantastic level of football, and they're going into a tough game where they're going to need that elite talent to come out now, especially in the early stages. They're going to have to come out the traps very quickly and try and get that early goal.
3 changes, Trevor. What do you make of those? Obviously, we know what the Walker one was forced as he has his last game of his suspension. Yeah,
I'm not surprised Stones has gone in at right back, but he could have put Cancelo there, started with Zinchenko on the left, or even Cancelo on the left. And or Ake, he's played well as well. So I mean, there was a lot of options, but I was more interested in the forward line because obviously Mahrez's numbers this season have been superb. We thought that Sterling would play just because of his work rate, but then to not see Grealish in the lineup, I think that's a bit disappointing. But obviously, the bench, you look at the bench, Foden, him, Ferner, we've got so much ability there. So yeah, good side, like Shaun said. You know, they've got quality, they've got options, and if they need to change it up, there's plenty of players that can come off and change it off the bench.
Do any of the changes surprise you, David, or were you expecting them?
Not really, no. Again, Walker you expected, but I think when you look at the Burnley game and watching through some of the highlights of the Burnley game, I think defensively it's going to be similar to Atletico in the sense that Burnley are very well organised defensively, but the way that City played, especially in that first half an hour, superb. So I think there was, if anything, I would have imagined saying this, but Burnley was a proper warm-up for tonight.
Just off the back of that, Natalie, we were talking before the game, and Bernardo, the amount of ground that he covers, it's just no surprises in the team. He's infectious, he's a top player, and it doesn't surprise me that he's involved.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, isn't he? And I absolutely love him. So happy to see him back. If we start, if we go back to the defence, and let's have a quick chat about that. Obviously, we knew Walker was out, so we knew that we were going to have to fill somebody in the right back position. John Stones has gone in there. As Trevor touched on, the other option would have been moving Cancelo over and having Zinchenko come into the left. But I think I am one of the members now of the Nathan Ake fan club. I think he did brilliant at the weekend, so I'm not surprised that he retains his place.
Yeah, as you say, Zinchenko coming in and Cancelo possibly going on the right and not having Stones in there. But I think from what I've seen in recent weeks with Atletico, down the right-hand side is where they're most dangerous. And you want your quickest alert player in Cancelo there. But Nathan Ake, superb.
Shaun, do you make of Nathan Ake so far this season?
I've kind of always liked him, to be honest with you, even before he came, because Jamo made a point off air before about goalkeepers having a lot to do. When he was at Bournemouth, he had a lot of defending to do. And even though they conceded a lot of goals, he still played well within that. So for him to come to City and just carry on, it's only improving his game, all-round game, his position, and he's got three great players to learn off. So it's kudos to him.
And we've seen John Stones in that right-back position before, Trevor. How do you think he'll manage with that tonight?
I think he'll manage well. I think when you look at their side, in general, they've not got a supersonic pace. So I think from that side of things, he'll deal with it defensively. Offensively, he's a technical genius, isn't he? Technically, he's passing, he's superb. So he understands the patterns of the team. He's been involved now with the club for a long time, and even before he got here, that was kind of one of his marquee moves, the fact that he could play in tight areas and deal with the ball. So he'll use all his experience. I've got no worries at all that he'll do a decent job.
And then your man Bernardo Silva. Let's have a look at the midfield. This is my favourite question. I love asking all the guests because everyone just always looks at me like, I've no idea. Where's everybody playing today then? Who's in the middle? Who's out wide?
Well, what's Simeone thinking? I mean, that's we're thinking that, and we watch the club week in, week out. So what's Simeone thinking? He doesn't know what to expect. He'll be happy to get the team sheet because he'll start trying to work out what we're going to do. I think what we do better than anyone is we rotate. And you've heard a few sound bites from Pep where he's come out and said, listen, I don't want players that can play in one position. I want players that can play football. And I think that he's got a team there, players that can play football. You look at Cancelo playing on the left, he can play on the right, he can play probably midfield. You look at John Stones, we know he's a centre-half, but he can go and fill in at right back. So we've got players that can rotate really well. I think there's a great understanding and appreciation for each other. If someone gets caught forward, in our day we used to call it filling in. Fill in for him. Now they call it rotating, and they just do that so naturally and so organically. And yeah, I mean, that's why the team's been so successful.
You didn't answer. Very well done. Do you see how he went round about the houses?
All that matters is, all that everybody knows is we always know where Rodri's going to be.
I was going to say, yeah, Rodri will
we
be
know
in the
where
middle,
Rodri's going to be. The rest, go and enjoy the football.
And you know, listen, we've spoke about it many times within the media at City, and you mentioned it before the last time we lost in the Champions League game, and it was the final. And I looked at that goal today because obviously I knew it was coming on. And I think if Rodri was in that team, he would have been 2 or 3 yards across. So it's great that he's sticking with a holding midfielder, because I think if we go that way forward for the rest of this tournament, I think we can win it.
Yeah, it still makes me very sad. And we are just playing 11 players, by the way. We aren't playing 12, as Pep had perhaps hinted in his press conference. Word on Raheem Sterling as well, David. I know you love a stat. I love a stat. You're gonna love this one. Sterling's been involved in 200 goals for City since he joined us. That is 72 assists, 128 goals in 328 appearances. Insane record.
Yeah, I mean, I think last time I was on the show, he broke he got in the top 10.
Yes,
top 10
City's
goals.
top 10 goal scorers.
And it was almost like a surprise, as if he wasn't good enough to do that. But he's fantastic, absolutely fantastic player. I think more than anything, he seems to be enjoying his football. And I don't mean that he hasn't enjoyed it in the last year or two, but he just looks like a happy player in a happy team, which gets happy performances and happy results.
And of course, you've all played for England, so you'll know what it's like. You know, playing for England, he's came back, captained England, Shaun. What additional confidence do you think that's given him?
I think he had all the confidence from playing from City to carry into England. I don't think he got his confidence playing for England. It comes from the support he gets from the fans, from his manager and the teammates he plays with. And I think even when he was going through that little bad spell, he was still getting in all the chances, in all the positions, scored those goals, but it just wasn't happening. And the one goal that he scored to get him back to where he belonged was probably the hardest chance he had, and he made it look so easy. And that just shows his characteristics. I just think he's so mentally tough on and off the pitch that it's fantastic for especially young players to take notice and see what he goes through, sometimes even when he doesn't deserve it, but he still plays with a smile on his face.
Just jumping on the back of what you said there, Gemmo, you were quite surprised. I'm surprised myself, but I think the fact that the teammates always support him, managers always support him, it's the media. They put him down too much, in my opinion. And the resilience that he's shown to put the performance in, have bad times, have bad runs, and then come back again. He's been on fire. To be captain of your country as well, stone's throw from where he was brought up, brilliant story. And he's got, 27, 28? He's got ages to go. He's going to break records.
And this is why we need you in your media role, and you guys, when you're getting out in the media, representing, because you do it, Trev, all the time, don't you?
I do.
Oh, I did put something out on Twitter. The other day. Put some respect on his name.
Correct, I've seen that.
Yeah,
it's true, though, it's true. And, you know what? It doesn't matter what criticism he gets. I think his teammates here, his management here, and at England, you know, within the squad, Gareth Southgate, I think they all respect him and appreciate what he brings to the table.
If I can just back that up, I don't think Raheem Sterling needs us to say anything. He'll just do what he does and continue to do fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I interviewed him once and I said something about similar, about wanting us to win the Champions League so that he would get the respect, the team would get the respect, and he basically said, no, we don't need it. So you're absolutely bang on.
That's why he's a class player.
So other players that I adore, obviously all of them. Riyad Mahrez, absolutely love Riyad Mahrez. Got a lovely other stat for you, David. David loves me stats. Riyad Mahrez has scored 6 goals in the Champions League campaign, a joint club record. No City player has ever scored more than 7 in a single Champions League campaign. Riyad Mahrez is going to break that.
Well, yeah, considering it's going to be 4-3 today, I think you might get a chance to score a couple. I'm sorry, it's a bit early for predictions.
No, I'm loving your prediction because you announced that when you came in today. We'll get on to predictions. We'll have a chat about Atletico in a minute. I mean, this is Mahrez against Sporting a little bit earlier in the season, Trevor. I just absolutely adore him. Yeah,
listen, he's one of them players where you actually know what he's going to do. He's going to come in, he's going to look to go down the outside, he's going to chop in on his left foot and he's going to bend it in. And knowing what he's going to do and being able to stop it are 2 completely different things, and he's a frustrating player to play against. I think at times, because he does a lot on the ball, he takes a lot of touches on the ball, he can be probably quite frustrating to play with. But I was here last season when we had no crowd and we played against PSG and he scored that goal. The feeling that and the sound that come from the bench, all the staff at Manchester City, it's great that we've got a full house tonight, and I'm sure he's going to do the business. He's a top player.
Riyad Mahrez loves the Champions League, but so does Kevin De Bruyne, Shaun. His 50th appearance tonight in the Champions League. Amazing. He's a big game player, isn't he?
He's an every game player, really, and he's, to be honest with you, he's just one guy that there's, no matter how, he might not even be playing that well, but if you make that run, he's still going to try and make that pass. And I think for people like me and Trevor especially, sometimes we always had to call for the ball. But if you play with a Kevin De Bruyne, you don't need to call for the ball. As long as you make that run and you're onside, the chances are he's seen it with one of his 8 eyes. He would have seen it somewhere along the line, and he'll find a way to get for you. And it's fantastic for the attackers.
I think there's been a few City players, Benabia, Aya Berkovic, players that both myself and Shaun have played with. But off the ball, out of possession, he brings it as well. I mean, we were talking off air before and we were saying, like, these can be quite an aggressive team to play against. I think we are. And especially when Kevin De Bruyne gets the ump and he feels like our game plan's not working, he gets wired in, and he's almost like the catalyst for the rest of the lads to slightly change tact and start getting physical with teams. I've seen him do it so many times.
I'm loving this so much already. I hope you are at home as well. I'm sure you are. I'm really getting in the mood for the game now. I can't wait. If you'd like to ask any questions to our guests, you can do that using the WhatsApp number. So get them in and I'll try and get through as many as possible. As always, you can ask them about tactics for tonight, their careers, anything you've ever wanted to know. Get them in through WhatsApp now. And also, this is your reminder, download the Manchester City app if you haven't already. That is where you'll get full match commentary for this game and all of Manchester City's games with the wonderful Alistair Mann. It's the best place to get your commentary. Right, now it is time to play Who's Stat? So, you know by now, we give you 3 clues. One now, one a little bit later, half-time, and then we'll tell you at full-time the answer. You need to use the clues to work out who the current or former Manchester City player is. So, clue 1 in today's Who's Stat? This player made 11 league appearances in City's 2012 title-winning game.
Can I just ask you, is that the person? Is that the silhouette? If that's the silhouette for the person, I know who that is.
Is that the silhouette for the person? Yeah, do you know what? I think it is.
It looks like him.
Yeah, don't say. It does, doesn't it? Do you know what? I think we should rename this Who's Silhouette, because we often get them for... David, have you got it, do you think?
No, because I thought it looked like Robbie Fowler.
Way too skinny.
2012, he was really light then. He was training for a marathon.
If you think you know who it is, you can let us know using the hashtag Man City. We'll give you another clue a little bit later on. Now, before we take a look at the Atletico lineup, Diego Simeone has chosen tonight. We went to the City store earlier in the week to get City fans' take on the match. Pep commented on the lack of credit that Atletico receive for their attack. So we asked our fans, are Atletico only defensively tactically? Something like
It's more offensive that the people could believe. He doesn't want to take the risk in the build-up, but after they have quality to play, and they play really well in the final third.
I tend to agree with him because I watched them against Liverpool last year, and when they were 2-0 down, it looked game, set and match. And then they pulled it back, but they had a great player sent off when they were in the ascendancy. And anyone who scores 2 goals against Liverpool can't be accused of being defensive, can they?
He's got his own style, and definitely his own style, and he does play that sort of way, which Pep says, but I think they change quite a lot, the way they play the system. They do change per game what they do.
Yeah, there's a perception that they're very defensively solid, but going forward you've got the likes of João Felix, Luis Suarez, top players. It'll be tough tomorrow.
All I can do is just look back at the game at Old Trafford. That's what they did, 95% defending, 5% attacking. But when they do move forward, they're quite sharp. We've got to be on full metal to keep them out.
It will be damage limitation from their point of view because they've got the away leg first.
I can see it being 2 banks of 4. It'll be tough to break, but get an early goal, we'll be flying. But if we go behind, it'll be tough, but let's see.
Every team we play puts 10 men behind the ball. So it's another day at the office for City.
I think he'll load his team with defenders and midfield players.
I love that. Just another day at the office for City. That is the attitude. Right, let's have a look now at that starting 11 for Atletico Madrid. So, in goal, it's Oblak. And then it's Ronaldo, Felipe, Savic, Lodi, Koke, Kondogbia, Llorente, Vesalico, Griezmann and João Felix. And then on the bench, it is Gomez, Lecomte, Kamara, Hermoso, De Paul, Lamar, Serrano, Vass, Correa, Cunha and Suarez. So that is your subs bench for Atletico Madrid for today. So, gents, let's talk first of all about the team before we go on to this whole dark arts and defensive. This is what we've been hearing about, first of all. In that team, straight away for me, David, João Felix jumps out. A lot of talk about him. Obviously, we know about the big money transfer that he went for a few years ago. It's been a slow start at Atletico for him, but he's come into form recently, and he is scoring now for fun in recent games. What do you make of him?
Yeah, I mean, he's matured. This was a highly talented youngster who I'd say maturing. I mean, for some reason, he's a bit like that lad at Liverpool. Scores a few with his head, especially in the Champions League. If you can remember the dive headers that he scored. But they've made a couple of changes, I think, from the game against Alaves. They won 4-1 at the weekend. The key player that I would be concerned about is Llorente. And again, this is something that the City defence has got to be careful of. As I say, balls down the right, crosses, and as I say, Felix with his head. But this is a side that looks like it could concede 4 goals against City tonight.
David is convinced that City are going to score 4 goals tonight. So João Felix has scored 7 goals in his last 8 games. Other big team news there mentioned as well is that Jimenez is obviously not in the team tonight. He got picked up that injury in that game at the weekend. So similar to us, that is a big defensive loss for them.
It is, yeah, and I think he's probably the leader of their defence. Heads the first ball in, makes first contact, looks like a bit of an organiser. So similar to us missing Ruben Diaz, same goes for them. But you look at the forward line, Griezmann, loads of experience on his day. You know, we've seen him do it before. A real threat. Obviously, João Felix is good quality. They've got good midfielders. I thought watching the Manchester United game, or the Manchester United games in the last round, I thought they were cleverer than Manchester United. They looked after the ball well. They were quite quick on the counter-attack. They weren't very defensive. I thought they were quite open, especially as soon as they got the ball in transition. I thought they spread out. They understood patterns of play and passages of play, and I was quite impressed with them. But I'm just not sure the intensity playing against Manchester United and intensity playing against Manchester City is going to be the same. Whether they can step it up a little bit and compete with Manchester City, we'll see tonight.
Anyone else in that team standing out for you, Sean, that we need to keep an eye on?
No, I think the guys highlighted it very well. I think they would come here, especially try and be solid compared to how they were at United, where they kind of went for it, because City's a complete different opposition that they know if they open up too much, we will pick them off and we'll create a lot of chances, and hopefully the chances we create go in. So I think they base it more on the defensive side and try and play on the break, because they know at times that's where most teams score against it is on the counter-attack. So I think that's the way they were trying to set up.
I think when I watched them against Manchester United, I thought they got into little pockets of space on transition and they retained the ball really well and broke through the lines. I don't think City are going to give them opportunities. We kind of strangle teams and we get locked on, stick to task. Even if the ball's turned over, we go in and try and win it back straight away. And I just think that intensity will start dictating the game, have a lot of possession, and it's whether the boys have got the shooting boots on.
Yeah, it's probably not fair to look at them in that Man United game because
they looked great, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you can compare Atletico Madrid with a team that might finish in the Europa Conference, I don't think that's fair.
If they're lucky, David.
If they're lucky, if they have a good running.
You confirmed Atletico to Burnley just before.
No.
You said it's a good warm-up game.
The way that Burnley are organised in defence is what Man City might be up against. In that first half an hour, right.
They started the game well against Burnley, so if that's anything to go by, 2 goals in the first half an hour, 1 goal in the first 5-6 minutes, wasn't it? So it was a good start against Burnley, and I think if we get that same kind of start, I think Atletico could be in trouble.
I'd love that. I'd take that right now. You mentioned Griezmann before. He scored 6 goals in his last 6. Well, he's been involved in 6 goals in his last 6 games, scoring 4 times, providing 2 assists. He's their top scorer in the Champions League as well. 25 goals, 55 appearances for Griezmann.
Yeah, he hasn't had those numbers are good, but his overall season hasn't been particularly great, not for assists or scoring goals. So maybe he's coming into form. I mean, let's be right. This is a dangerous side. If they can attack. The game against Barcelona would show that in recent couple of months they've had high-scoring games and they can defend, winning 1-0. They're not the old Atletico, which was staple 1-0 victory. This is a side that can arguably mix it up or take advantage of slack football. So City have to be on their game. I'm saying 4-3 just because I've seen loads of their goals today. But if City aren't disciplined, they've got the quality to take advantage of that.
We were seeing Luis Suarez walking in there at the end, Shaun. Obviously, we all know a lot about him from his time at Liverpool. On the bench today, but if he comes on, are you worried? Has he still got it?
Yeah, I don't think he will ever lose it, but I think Trevor highlighted something before off air where he said that he doesn't know whether he can do it at this level anymore for that long, hence the reason why he's most probably on the bench, because if he could, you would imagine he would be that leading number 9 because of all the problems people know he can cause. So I don't think there's much to worry, especially with City's defence. If they defend the way we know they can defend, they normally tend to keep clean sheets.
I think, if I could just say, the other thing is with Suarez, you've got to love him or hate him. The game breaks down a lot around Suarez because he's trying to draw fouls, and what you've got in Griezmann and Felix going up front are 2 players who want to play and score goals. So Atletico have more time with the ball. Suarez is always diving, trying to take advantage, and he's pretty successful at it sometimes.
But we've heard a lot about that in the build up to this game. I mean, non-stop about, and I love it. Esme Morgan described it as the dark arts that they play, and it is the slowing the game down, the taking their time. What do you make of that, Trevor?
Jump on board, because you're just bending the rules of the game. It's not cheating. But just going back to Suarez, listen, coming off the bench, he could be a problem, because if it's an intense game and there's a little bit of fatigue coming into the game, listen, he's a special player. He's a creative player. Love what he did at Liverpool and Barcelona. He's not quite been able to replicate that this season, but he did it last season at times. He's a top player. I think he's one of the best players that's played in the Premier League. He's getting towards the end of his career now, but he's still got that guile and he's still got that cheekiness that we all enjoyed watching and being entertained by. So he could be a problem when he comes off if he comes off the bench.
In terms of their style of play, Shaun, we've heard a lot as well, and we know that they're happy for you to have the ball, they're happy to sort of sit back, and they're going to take their opportunities on that counter-attack. Many people have said that is when we're at our most, susceptible. Do you agree with that?
At times, yeah, but I remember when I came back from Chelsea to obviously Man City, and the way we played with Mark Hughes was pretty similar. We tried to be solid. We waited for them to come over the halfway line before we engaged and tried to set little cheeky traps. And then from there, because you had the likes of, say, me, Stevie Island, Petrov, Alana, Robinho, Adebayo, then we would kind of break and kind of go from it. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's just parking a bus sort of thing. Like there's a reason why they're doing it, and that is to catch City on the counter-attack. So I think if they do, we have to be careful, and like David said, we have to have our A game. We have to be professional and ready for everything that comes.
I go back to the game we played against, who do we play against? Monaco. here in the Champions League, where it was, I can't remember, they scored 4-3 or something, but on transition they were so good, and we weren't quite up to speed. We need to be up to speed, because if we have got a lot of ball, we're expansive, we've got players all over the pitch, we're not really got too many players back. On the transition of losing the ball, we can't get disappointed. We've got to react straight away, get in a position where you can go and win the ball back. If we do that, I think we should be fine.
Vulnerable was the word I was looking for, by the way.
I was going to help you.
You got me, didn't you?
I was going to
You
help.
all knew what
We just like seeing you sweat.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Yes. Vulnerable was the word. Right, we're going to have a look at some stats now. So, coming up on your screen there, City versus Atletico. So this is our record in the Champions League. So we've scored 23 goals in the Champions League so far. They've only scored 9. We've conceded 10. They've conceded 9. Passing accuracy, we are 90.9, much higher than theirs. Total passes completed, I mean, we're 4,533, almost double their 2,329. Average possession, now that's interesting. Average possession, theirs is 42.9, ours 59.5. Does anything jump out at you there, David?
There's one stat that isn't there. That's Atletico scoring 33% of their goals in the last 15 minutes. But what jumps out? Interestingly, the clean sheets, both teams have only had 2 Champions League clean sheets in 8 games.
Who needs these stats when you've got David James?
No, it's just one of these things. And again, because Atletico there's a sort of a story about Atletico that they win 1-0, fantastic clean sheets, and it's not true at the moment. They concede goals, or they're vulnerable to conceding goals. And the thing that surprises me is City, considering they've had so many clean sheets in the Premier League, haven't had as many in the Champions League. So there's, again, a side of vulnerability there. But, of course, this is a quarter-final match which City have earned the right to be in, and therefore they're good enough to win games of football. So clean sheets are wonderful, but it's not the be-all and end-all. So 4-3 sounds really good.
Either of you guys got any stats off the top of your head that you want to share?
No, but what I would say about that stat, I think that tells us the story, doesn't it? I think, they are quite difficult to break down, but in the latter stages of games, they're more expansive and they try and score goals. So I think that definitely coincides with the stats you've seen there. 42% average possession, not so many passes. I think Manchester City have got nearly twice the amount of passing in the game. So I think the game should go like that. We should dominate possession, create quite a lot of opportunities, but we've just got to be aware that when they do go for it, we've got to be aware and make sure we're in positions where we can stop the attacks.
Now, Pep and Simeone have faced each other 3 times. Pep's won 2 of those. But the biggest factor is the notable difference, obviously, in their playing styles. That's what people have been talking about all week. A real clash of styles. Or is there, David? Because Pep said in his press conference this week that they are more offensive than people are giving them credit for.
Yeah. As I say, I think over the years that Simeone has been there, he built this reputation of being the 1-0, 2-0 team. Very difficult to break down. They'll give you the ball, you won't be able to break them down, they'll score 1 or 2 goals. And it just doesn't follow that way. They're capable of scoring goals. And again, I think when we think about the scrappy side of it, you look at that lineup, if Suarez is in the side, we have the scrappy game. With him out the side, I think they've got enough quality to play football. And they can attack. And if Griezmann's on form, Felix is on form, Llorente's on form, then all of a sudden it becomes a very good game of football. And I think that's what we're going to see tonight. A lovely game of football, lots of attacking. Edison, you're going to have to be man of the match.
Trevor, there's been a lot of discussion about this clash of style, but there also seems to be some real similarities between them. Obviously, the kind of real competitiveness, the wanting to win at all costs, the tactically obsessedness that they both are. Do you think the footballing style clashes, or can you see similarities?
I think the footballing styles can clash, but I think it's whoever's got the better quality will be able to stamp their authority on the game. And, we talk about... one of the biggest similarities, they're both defending champions of their own domestic leagues. Atletico was superb, and that's what they've done. They've changed, they've upgraded the style of players, the standard of players, and that's why they're not a deep block now, like they used to be when Simeone went there. So they've recruited really well, they've improved the players, they've won the league, now they're looking to go one further and start doing well in the Champions League.
They've both spoken very highly of each other this week as well, Shaun, so there does seem to be a lot of respect between the two of them.
I don't think you could look at either of those managers in any other way. I think in respect to themselves, they've both done fantastic managers' jobs, and Pep is completely on another level because obviously he's doing it in probably the best league in the world, which is the Premier League. So for me, they both earn that respect, and are both going to show each other that respect until the whistle goes, and then they will clash, and the boys will tell you, we could be friends, but as soon as that whistle goes and you're across that white line, we're enemies until after the game, and that's the way it will be.
I think both managers reflect how they were as players as well. You know, you look at Pep, you know, he played for Barcelona in an era where they were playing superb football, loved to dominate the play. And you look at Simeone, horrible man on the pitch, wanted to kick everyone. And a lot of the time, when he first went in there and they didn't have the quality of players, that's exactly what they did. So I think they're reflective of the way their teams play. But I think Simeone's starting to evolve a little bit.
Now, David's pumping the air. You can't see that currently. Obviously, you've seen pictures of Edison. I presume that's because you're saluting the future man of the match of this game, David.
Yeah. If he's man of the match, then we're happy. I say we're happy?
No.
Yeah, but he can be man of the match for making the match-winning save. In the
we don't want it that tight, do we?
No. I'd rather him just not touch the ball, and we just win.
Pep will say this straight after the game, irrespective of the score, that it's a two-legged affair. So it doesn't matter what happens tonight, they've still got to play the second leg. Okay. And that match-winning save can be the save that gets it.
Do you have to always be so sensible? Can't you just enjoy the moment sometimes?
Enjoying it. I was enjoying his warm-up. I mean, everyone watching Edison warm-up there, I was jealous because I can't do that anymore.
Keeper's union, isn't it? The keeper's union. He's just getting a bit excited watching one of his mates.
He's got it. Always backs the keepers, but it's nice. It's nice. We like it. Now, something else we like is the incredible Jamie Carr. He is having his Etihad homecoming tonight after, get this, honestly, ears open, this is not a lie, it's not April Fool's Day. He has run 250 kilometres across the Sahara Desert in aid of City in the Community. Incredible. Take a look at this.
Hello from Morocco. So we have arrived into the desert. Wow, what a day. Literally since we set off, it was sandstorms and sort of 50-something meters the whole day. I've never covered 85k in my life. Amazing scenery the whole way. My feet are in quite a bad way already, like I'm not sure you can see there. Oh, there. I've had them all taped up. I've got quite a few bad blisters and stuff, so I have to just literally accept that. Like there's nothing I can do to change that. And do you know what? They're gonna get worse. Yeah, I'm just not thinking about my feet. My feet are not going to ruin my day, and I'm going to get this finish line. I'm going to enjoy it.
I'm so happy to tell you that Jamie has joined us now in the studio. Oh my goodness! Jamie, that is absolutely insane. How are you feeling?
I'm delighted to be home and eating normal food again. That's the first thing. Yeah, that was the first thing I did when I got out of the desert was go to the shop, crisps, chocolate, back to normal, back to reality.
When I got out of the desert, just saying it sounds crazy. Take us back to the start. How did this challenge come about?
Well, yeah, it was sort of born about 6 or 7 years ago when I saw these challenges on documentaries. So the first one was the Marathon des Sables, and the second one is a solo row across the Atlantic Ocean. And as soon as I saw them on the documentaries, I was like, I am doing this. And it just sort of took 5 or 6 years for me to pluck up the courage to say, right, I'm going to do it now. And here we are.
And when are you doing the solo row?
So that's in December. So I've got a bit of time to learn how to row, to be honest.
You don't know how to row?
No, yeah, that's the funny thing. I literally rowed my first strokes in a boat about 2 weeks ago in Salford Keys.
That's the funny thing. I'm going to row across the Atlantic and I don't know how to row.
Yeah,
okay?
I know. I've got a lot to do between now and December, I think.
You better put your locations on your, was it a canoe or a boat?
It's literally a boat. It's a 7-metre ocean rowing boat. So it's literally, it's quite small, especially when you're living in it for 2 to 3 months like I will be.
Is it in the car park at the minute?
Yeah, it's in the car park, believe it or not. It looks like a spaceship, right?
So that's what you're using to practice and...
So that's the actual boat, yeah.
That's the actual boat, right?
That's it, yeah. So that is going across the Atlantic Ocean, yeah. So...
When did you move in?
I'm moving in December when we put it in the water in La Gomera in the Canary Islands. So yeah.
Wow. You're not going to live in it for like a couple of weeks at a time just to see what it's like?
I don't know. I think I'm going to leave the suffering to when I actually have to do it rather than optional stuff.
You said after your 250k running, the feet are what's really struggled with. What are you expecting from your row?
Oh well, yeah. So my feet got absolutely smashed in the desert, and from the stories in the Atlantic, I hear that your bum gets really sore from the rowing seat. So you get lots of blisters and pressure sores and stuff. So that's the thing you really need to avoid.
Salt, isn't it?
Salt, friction, and just hours and hours. You're talking 14, 16 hours a day on that position. So yeah, rough.
Tell us why. What are you doing this for? What charities are you doing it for?
Yeah, so City in the Community's mental health programme called City Thrive.
Yeah.
Half of the money is going to go towards supporting them. And then there's also a charity in Ireland called Cancer Fund for Children, which is helping young people with cancer. So all the money is going to be split between those two.
Superb.
Absolutely incredible. How can people donate?
So there's a Just Giving page, and if you search Nothing Venture, Jamie Carr, you can find me there. And yeah, I'd really, really appreciate any donations and support.
He's gone across the Sahara Desert, people. Get on to that website now and support him if you can. You're going on the pitch at half-time today as well, aren't you, I heard?
Yeah, no pressure. First time being on the Etihad, so yeah, really looking forward to it.
In the boat?
Do you play, Jamie? Do you play a bit of football?
I did growing up, yeah, but now I coach in the academy in the under-14s.
Superb.
So, yeah, I get to look at the up-and-coming talent of the future and watch them play properly. A lot better than I did.
Yeah, and us.
Oh, I just can't get over just how incredible that is. What training did you do?
Yeah, so it was about 14 months of training, to be honest. The first 6 months was basically rowing focused, and then the last year or so was just running. So, yeah, I'm going to now sort of stop all the running stuff, focus on rowing, learn the basics of how to row a stroke, and then transfer that to the sea and hopefully do a lot of my training in the Irish Sea over the next sort of 4 or 5 months.
Jamie, did you lose a lot of weight? Because I've done a marathon and it's hard and my feet were in bits, and that's 42, whatever it is, K.
Yeah.
You've done 250. Did you lose a lot of weight doing that? And do you expect to lose weight doing the row across the Atlantic? I can't even believe you're saying that.
I know, mate.
Yeah, well, the thing about the Marathon des Sables is you need to carry everything you need to survive on your back.
Wow.
So it's a constant battle between, yeah, I want to bring a lot of food, but then you have to carry a 250k. So after day one, I got rid of all the sweets, all the nuts, and I just cut down because it was just so heavy, the backpack. But on the row, I reckon I'll lose a third of my body weight, probably about 15 kilos.
You better start eating.
Yeah, I know.
You
I
are
can't wait.
quite slight anyway.
I'm excited.
So you were coaching the academy currently under 14s, you were saying. Let's steal some of your football knowledge then. What do you make of the starting 11 for tonight?
Well, to be honest, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, there we go. Let's get instant reaction from Jamie Carr on the starting 11 for tonight. So Ederson, Stones, Ake, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez, Silva and Sterling.
Exciting team. Love that midfield. Really looking forward to see how they can create chances against a tough sort of Atletico Madrid.
Tough defensive for Atletico, do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Hard to break down. So, yeah, we've got a good team to do that, I think, though.
David James is convinced it's going to be 4-3. What's your opinion on that?
I'm going to go a conservative 1-0.
Well, as long as City win, then I don't mind being wrong.
One goal.
One goal in it.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I would take that now, but I want more.
A little bit more of a cushion got, but it's one of them. I think it's a balancing act because we know we've got a slightly important game coming up on Sunday. So what do you want to do? Put everything into this game for 90 minutes and try and win it 3 or 4-0? Or do you want to manage the game, win the game, go over a little bit of a cushion, maybe a 2-0, and then be fresh, be able to rest players, rotate players for the Sunday game?
What he said.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
That is what I'd like, please. Can we have that? Jamie, congratulations again. Absolutely phenomenal achievement. Do support Jamie if you can. He's done the Sahara Desert. He's now in training to just row solo across the Atlantic, you know, just as you do when you don't row right now currently. So congratulations. Enjoy it on the pitch at half-time as well. That'll be an incredible... You're going to get an amazing reception, I'm sure you are.
Thanks a million, appreciate it.
Thank you, congratulations, absolutely incredible. What a brilliant story. Now, earlier in the week on Matchday Live, Paul Dickov previewed the game tonight. Here are his thoughts.
Atletico over the past few years have been defensively one of the best teams in Europe. So it's going to be a test for Man City, but a test that they'll be used to. You know, every team that we play, whether it's here at the Etihad or away from home, set up defensively and make it really hard for us to break down. But the one thing we do, regardless of the personnel, is we usually find a way. You know, Pep would have been used to playing against Diego Simeone's teams before, you know, obviously with Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and he'll know how they set up, and he'll also know how to get the better of them. You know, there's no secret that Atletico, whether it's here or in Madrid, will set up with 5 at the back. They'll have 3/4 in front, and the one centre forward up there and defending their own half. So, as I said before, it's not anything that we're not used to. And as I said before, we always find a way to break it down. We all know Atletico defensively are very, very sound, but we're just going to have to be careful, you know, because at the top end of the pitch they've got some fantastic players. You know, João Felix, the young Portuguese kid, is slowly but surely justifying his price tag. Griezmann, fantastic player, World Cup winner with France, back at Atletico, scoring goals, doing well. And obviously there's Suarez as well, you know, he's been a top player for a number of years. So, you know, the 3 players that I've got there, I think only 2 will start. Very rarely does he play all 3, but it will just show you that they are a threat and they have good players, and an attacking third who could cause us problems. But at the same time, Atletico have got to get the ball first to get the service to them, and the one thing we do is dominate the ball for the opposition, and very rarely do we let them have it. I'm looking forward to seeing both of them, you know, both super passionate. You know, Diego Simeone in the touchline, you could watch him for 90 minutes, you know, he doesn't stop. But at the same time, you know, Pep's been there before. Atletico, even from Pep's time at Barcelona when he was up against them, they don't change. You know, they play a very defensive system, and going into this game already, I'm sure Pep will know how he's going to play against, what personnel he'll have, and he'll know how to break Atletico Madrid down. Atletico done a job, United, over the 2 games. I don't think Atletico had to play that well to come through the game against Manchester United, and especially the game at Old Trafford. I thought they were poor, but I don't think Pep or the team will be looking at that game and taking anything out of it, because, you know, it's a quarter-final of the Champions League, 2 completely different games, home and away, so I wouldn't think they'll look too much into that. You want to win every single game, and the one thing this team has always done since Pep came in is take 1 game at a time. I don't think it would be the end of the world if we went over there without taking a lead there. You know, if it's a draw, that back us in every single game. You know, having the away goals rule cancelled out now, I think makes a huge difference in how teams will play. But at the same time, like, we want to win the game here at the Etihad, and I'm sure we will. But if it's a draw here and we go to Madrid, I will still fancy Manchester City massively.
Love Paul Dickov. He always makes me feel better. He's always super optimistic. I love it. He was also really good at a quiz that we did the other day. He set a standard for you all now, by the way, because we're going to do a similar quiz with the 3 of you now.
I thought I'd done one at the beginning of the show.
You know that we love to quiz you. We know, you know. Now, if you would like, Shaun, would you like to all play as a team?
Yeah.
You can play as a team if you want.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. David's like, nah, I would play this on my own.
No, we're a team.
This is a quiz of the year, so we've picked a year for you. You guys have got 2004. The other day we did 2018, by the way. Paul Dickov should go on Mastermind. He knew everything about 2018. It's City related, of course, don't worry.
Yeah, but he is here all the time.
He lives there.
Yeah.
And he wrote the quiz.
2004, that's your eras, yeah? Yeah, so you've got a good chance. Okay. Ready. So we're going to be asking the gents a question for each month of the year in 2004 relating to City. So we're going to start with January. Play as a team, you can confer. January, City started the year with a 3-1 FA Cup victory over Leicester. But which former Blue lined up for the opposition?
Former Blue?
Former City player that lined up when we played Leicester.
There's no ABC.
Oh, that would have
No,
been...
mate.
That would have been...
No, mate, you just got to go for it.
Possibly. Yeah.
Was that Dickov?
It was Dickov.
Yes.
And I'm on my own.
And then a little Dickov pops up there. Okay.
Right, I'm on my own, so I need them.
February. Another FA Cup question. City's 4-3 iconic Tottenham comeback goes down in history as one of the best.
Boom.
Who scored City's first goal to start the comeback? Come on, Shawnee. This is yours. You got it. This is the time to make good.
Centre forward.
No, it weren't Anelka. He was off.
No. John Mackham.
I don't.
he scored the last
I think he scored the last. But who scored the first? Was it Joey?
I think it was Tana.
Was Joey on the pitch?
Joey got sent off.
Yeah, he got sent off in the end. Oh, hang on a minute.
Tana.
No, Boswell scored the second, the deflection.
Okay.
You're going for my Tana.
Shaun, you're doing good. Keep thinking. Pull that out. Come on.
I think it was left
It's in there. Come on.
I think it's Tana. No.
Oh, don't go for Tana. No.
We're not going for that.
Right, it's not Tana. It's Sylvan Distan.
I knew it was left footed.
We were getting to Silk. I'm on my own again.
Right, March. Right, come on, you two. You're going to get this. Our 4-1 hammering of United came in this month with Shaun and Trev both getting on the score sheet. Shaun celebrated with a robot. But how did you celebrate, Trevor?
Which one was this?
When you beat United.
I invented the Sue celebration.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I took my shirt off and I ran around and went,
bam.
Right, let's have a look. Did he?
I knew it was that. He took his shirt off.
Was this when you were allowed to take your shirt off?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Where's the tents?
I was tempted.
We got a strength and conditioning coach after that.
Right, April. I'm not keeping track of the score now, it's all fun. April. Shaun scored a last-minute equaliser to share the points against Wolves, but where was David James when the goal went in?
We was talking about this earlier.
Was you in the box?
Whoa.
Was it set piece and you was in the box?
Wolves, if there's an equaliser and I wasn't in my goal area...
You must have been in the box.
Must have been in the box.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Was David James in the box?
Another failed forward attempt by James.
What a finish.
Yes, I think I took the
Are you with
defence.
us now?
Yeah, if you look from here, you see my positioning. I just take that... No, actually, they'll run towards the ball.
Nobody's anywhere near you, are they?
This is like, leave J-Mo, he's not a risk.
They knew, yeah.
What a strike.
What a finish, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice, Shaun. Nice.
So,
Right.
J-Mo, I just want to know, are you in the team? Because we're 2-1 at the minute, because we want to be a team.
I was going to say in the box. No, we're all together in this.
Okay.
Right, Major. City beat which side 5-1 to overtake them on the final day of the season? Who did we beat 5-1 on the last day of the season?
2004. Oh, wow.
Who did we beat 5-1? I love how they're whispering. You can talk loud, don't worry, I'll wait for your final answer.
Was it at home?
Don't know. Doesn't say.
Hang on, we beat 5.
My memory's not that good.
Who would we...
Who did you beat? Right.
Bolton.
Okay. Give us a guess. Is it Bolton? No, it's Everton.
I knew they were northeast, northwest.
Right. How many players from the England squad at Euro 2004 played at City at some point in their career?
1, 2.
So who was in it in 2004?
I can't remember.
Really?
You were in it.
2004?
Darius, me. Yeah, Darius, me, you.
Yeah. What we would not to the Euro.
In 2004,
in the squad, right?
I had been in the City squad.
How many players from the England squad at Euro 2004 played for City at some point in their careers?
Not me.
Oh,
just
2.
You and Darius?
Who did you play with?
Darius, Vassell. And...
Is it Michael Richards? Was he in the squad?
No, that's a shout.
Was he? No.
How many? What are you going for? Final answers?
This one's on you, Jay.
I'm going to go... It's probably going to be 3, but I'm going to go 2.
It's 5. It's 5.
It went 5.
Right. There's a couple of ones you're going to kick yourselves here. You and Vassell. Frank Lampard. Hargreaves. Owen Hargreaves.
The question's done us, hasn't it?
Wayne Bridge.
Question's done us.
Great question.
You thought
Love
it
it.
was at the time.
I thought you meant by the time we got there, I was celebrating.
At any
and
point. That was a great question.
Good question.
I love tricking them. Right, July. Which England international arrived in July 2004 and would go on to make 54 appearances for City?
Coley.
Who came in 2004?
Is that Coley? Was he already there? Coley or was it Darius?
Cole.
Are you having that?
Oh, hang on. Darius signed the... Yes, Darius. He signed the year after.
Because he...
Nope, not Darius. Danny Mills.
Oh, right.
This is a great quiz. I'm loving this. I have absolutely no idea what the score is by now. No idea. Right. New season, August. City's first league win of the season came at home at the end of August. Trevor and Shaun both scored in a 4-0 win over who? August, 4-0 win. You both scored. Anelka got the other 2. I'll give you that.
At home. Who would that have been? Sunderland. No?
We're really testing them. I love this. You can see them like desperately trying to get the memories.
I think, yeah, I'm not sure.
No.
I compartmentalise a lot of my football career, so I have to dig it out.
It's a long time ago. It is a long time. 18 years. 4-0.
Did we get our own back on Middlesbrough?
Right, we need your answer. What are you going for?
You know what? I don't know this one, guys.
What are you going for?
I'll be honest.
I'm going to go Middlesbrough.
It is Charlton Athletic.
Oh, it's red. I can just see red.
Charlton.
Their kits are so similar.
Okay, September. Shaun scored in a big League Cup win over Barnsley this month, but what was the final score?
Killing me here with all this
Wow.
Shaun stuff.
Can you repeat the question, please? Sorry, Natalie.
Shaun scored in a
Barnsley,
big
why-
League Cup win over Barnsley this month, but what was the final score?
7-1.
We didn't score 7 back then.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We was lucky to get to 4.
But you know, 3.
Yeah, I'm going 3. I'm with
A big win 3. Come on, we were better than that.
What did you say, David?
7-1.
It was 7-1.
Thank you.
Wow.
How did you know that?
Because I just no, it's in there. I
Who
always check the records and look at scores.
Who else scored? Just one.
I'm on my own again here.
Barton, Macken, Flood, and Sibierski.
Willow Flood. Love it.
Flood.
Willow.
Go on,
Willow.
David.
Go
David's
on.
now on his own again. It's you two versus David.
Kind of oscillating between.
October, whose penalty inflicted a first league defeat of the season on Chelsea?
Oh, hang on a minute. The only league defeat, and Man City were the only team not to concede against them.
And who was it?
Nicholas Anelka. Boom.
Yes, it was Nicholas Anelka. Very good, David. Very good.
That's my stat for City.
Isn't that little,
Right.
one, isn't that little book of yours? Isn't
Want
it?
to come back here? Right, November, David.
They would have been the invincible 2s if it hadn't been for Anelka.
David, you got to get this.
Okay.
So you're on. If we are splitting you up, you're on 3. You guys are on 1. Right.
What?
November. Dave.
No way. What the hell? Hold on a minute. This is why I don't like doing quizzes on this show. This somehow always happens to me.
We're together.
Let's do it.
Unless I get this one right.
Right. Who did David James give a kiss for clearing Alan Smith's overhead kick off the line in the 0-0 draw against Old Trafford? Oh, laughing.
I can't answer this question.
Come on. Who did you give a kiss to?
Why can't you answer it? We need to win. So,
Well, you guys
so
get
if
to-
you know,
Yeah.
so just tell, he should know. He should
The
know
only-
what many
The
he's
only
kissing.
person I could think
How many
I would
kisses has he
kiss
given?
Yeah, that's
would
what I
be
mean.
Sylvan.
All right, I'm going to back you because we're a team. We have to stick together.
Let's have a look. There's currently
Or
a
done it.
Scouser sat at home crying because you've forgotten that you kissed him. Poor old Steve McManaman.
Just Shaggy.
I was actually in Porto at the moment. What? Oh, what?
Good effort, by the way.
He's got to control that.
I don't think he knew. It just hit him.
Yeah. Good discipline stay on the line,
Do you
though.
know what? Yeah, I don't think Mac can like that.
Okay. December. I love I enjoy these quizzes the most. December. Which City player scored an own goal in the final game of 2004 at home to a 10-man West Brom? Who scored an own goal? God bless him. There's
And
you
he's
there.
only done it.
Dunny. That's what I was going to say.
Probably done it.
It's got to be Richard Dunn. It is Richard Dunn. There we go. That was our quiz of 2004. That was hugely enjoyable. Anybody have any idea what the score was? No.
5, didn't we?
5-2 to J-Man.
It was a victory for entertainment.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Congratulations. If you would like to ask the gents a question as well, remember that you can do so using our WhatsApp. It's on the screen now. Use that number. Send them in any questions that you'd like to ask about their careers, anything about the tactics, anything you want. I'm going to try and get through as many as I possibly can. And also, this is your reminder to get the City app downloaded. If you haven't already, I'm sure the majority of you have, because Alistair Mann's commentary is wonderful and it is the best place to get this game and every single City game. Right, it's time for Who's Stat Clue 2. So, use these clues, put them together, and work out who the current or former Manchester City player is. So, clue 1 was, this player made 11 league appearances in City's 2012 title-winning season. Clue 2. Right. This player has won his country's Player of the Year title 5 times in the last 6 years.
That can't be him. That's who I thought he was, but 2000... How long's he been here?
I'm confused now.
No, I've got it. I know it.
You
is.
know it?
Yeah.
What, nice one.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused, but if you know who it is, give us a hashtag Man City and let us know. Now, we are about, oh my goodness, 25 minutes away from tonight's kickoff in the quarterfinals of the Champions League against Atletico Madrid. And there is a certain Manchester City legend that played for both City and Atletico Madrid. So this gives us a lovely opportunity to just talk about the one and only Sergio Aguero. So he played for Atleti 2006 to 2011, 234 appearances, 101 goals, 2 trophies, and then obviously we know that he came here. And if you needed any reminder whatsoever, 390 appearances, 260 goals, and a whopping 15 trophies. David, Sergio Aguero is just a legend, isn't he?
Well, Natalie, I wondered why you put your seat where you put your seat, with him in the background doing the Trevor Sinclair celebration. Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. It's we talk about the quality of the Manchester City side at the moment, which it is full of quality. But when you think of Manchester City's history, Sergio Aguero will be the man, one of many, hopefully, but he will be the man, especially now that people will refer to as. Not just a City legend, but a Premier League legend. And we're talking, as we said before, and what Trevor was saying about Sergio Aguero. I mean, what a player.
And it's like you read my mind, David, a Premier League legend, because he has been nominated for the Premier League Hall of Fame. We will find out in a few weeks whether he's got in through this. But Trevor, I just feel like there cannot be anybody that deserves to be in the Premier League Hall of Fame as much as him.
Yeah, I mean, the goal that he scored, 93-20, it's iconic. You know, I think it's probably still the best ever moment in the Premier League era, you know, for a single moment, scoring that goal so late in the game. I mean, I remember Zeko scoring, and I'm like, I couldn't even get excited because I was fuming because I thought we've left it too late. And then when he scored, like, literally stars in my head, I was like going mad. I was in Abu Dhabi at the time, and absolutely wondrous time. But his career at Manchester City, you know, he played with a smile on his face, good-looking boy, he was popular amongst the girls. Yeah, I just got a lot of time.
Popular amongst everybody,
Listen,
Trevor, I'm telling you.
He looks like a messer, and he does something that is probably the most difficult thing to do in football, and that's put the ball in the back of the net, and he does it easily.
Right, let's have a little look at the stats for both City and Atletico. A whopping number of games there.
Who's out on the right?
Wow, yes! Oh, my goodness! Look how young he is there! But look at that number of goals, that number of assists. Most goals in a season was 32 for City, 27 for Atleti. He's just an absolute goal machine.
It's the assists, though. I mean, there's some good goal scorers in football, but to have that number of assists as well, that's an all-round player. That's the guy you want in your team, because you know that if he's not going to score, there's a good chance he's going to pass.
We were just so lucky to have him for so many years as well, Shaun. You know, 10 years in enjoying him. It was blessed to watch him, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was more than blessed. I also think people forget that there was a lot of those seasons where he didn't actually play a full season, and he still managed to put up all those numbers he put up and challenge for Golden Boot. And that just basically stands out to me as what sort of striker he was. He didn't need that much time on the pitch to have an impact, or like David said, to set somebody up and just to leave his mark in a game. And he will always be remembered in history for Man City for as long as it's around and as long as we're around. And that's a great thing to do for me.
Yeah, he just... I never tire of watching back a selection of his goals, Trevor, because they were so magical and so varied and so special.
Yeah, I think the varied one. I mean, you look at the goals he scored, like, from 25 yards, he scored from 1 yard, he scored volleys, he scored headers, he scored spectacular over... He's done a lot. He scores. It doesn't matter how he gets the ball in the goal, he gets it in there. And that's an unbelievable knack to have as a footballer, especially if you're a striker. And you know, you get a lot of players who are unbelievable goal scorers. You get a lot of players who don't score a lot of goals but score spectacular goals. He does the lot. He just knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. Look at that little dink.
If you're a goalkeeper right there, David, and you see Sergio Aguero with the ball, what are you thinking?
Yeah, and I just echo what Trevor said. I mean, because he scored every type of goal, you can't plan against. Some players, you line it. I mean, we talked about Mahrez, and Mahrez... he's good at it, very good at it. Will get on his left foot and try and bend a shot in, Coutinho, whatever. But with Aguero, it's just like from anywhere. I mean, Kasper Schmeichel, that goal against Kasper Schmeichel, it's gone over his head, over his arms, fully extended. it shouldn't go in the back of the net. But he did it, and that you would hate to. Well, actually, I'd love to have been playing against him, but yeah, you would hate to play against him because there's a good chance he'd have scored at the end of it. So,
but even that goal there, we've just seen it, just lift it over the goal. He had every finish in the bag. Whether it's a curler with a little bit of guile, with so much technique, at blaster, he could put his foot through it, volleys, headers, just superb.
I think it was when he scored against Liverpool, where he came far post and he'd hit it as it bounced, and I think Alisson was in goal, and it was just like the ball's in the back of the net before anyone knew. It was just like ridiculous.
Just a quick yes or no, and it's going to be 3 yeses. I just want to do it anyway. Should he get a place in the Premier League Hall of Fame?
100%.
Thank you. We'll find out later in the month if he has made it through that nomination for in that voting period. We love you, Sergio. Okay, so before we get into our final thoughts for today's game ahead of the kickoff, here is a quick reminder of our starting 11. So it is Ederson, Stones, Ake, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez, Silva, and Sterling. So that is the starting 11 for today. And there's the substitutes as well that you can see. So if you're not excited enough already for the game, then you will be after this. Here is our inspiring manager, Pep Guardiola, speaking last week about this tie and the squad's success in general over the last 6 years.
But the adrenaline is addictive and you have to feel it. Normally, I don't know why, but normally I'm more relaxed in quarterfinals, Champions League, even the final Champions League last season. I just let perfectly. I was so relaxed. I try to feel that I trust them completely. And sometimes I push them, sometimes I'm angry, but that doesn't mean I don't trust them. So if they felt the manager don't trust them, they could not follow me. And they were going to be 5-6 seasons. They know they have to do our best, otherwise we cannot beat in this part of the opponents on this part of the season. They must be loved. They must be feel that we love them. And sometimes I'm not happy what they do, and I shout them, and I move my hands. But that doesn't mean I don't give the credit and the value that they have. After you have to decide on which artist they have to do what you believe for this specific game. Once I realize, okay, we're going to play in this way because the way they press, the way they play. At the end, you have an idea, but the player has to play. I never scored a goal in my life as a manager, never ever. What I'm proud the most is the fact that, I said before, this consistency and everything they're doing 5-6 seasons in this country. The winners of the Premier League the year after, on the year after what happened, and they dropped massively. They were not able to again and again in all the competition, in Carabao and FA Cup, every single day were there. All the teams after Champions League, winners to Premier League, they dropped. This is I think the biggest success of this club. Miles away to win the Premier League, or of course a dream to win the Champions League or the title. It's always being there when you arrive in the last stages, and this is so difficult, my friend. This is so difficult, and give a lot of credit to these players, a lot of credit.
I love that dramatic music as well, as if my nerves weren't starting to build enough. They certainly are now. We've got less than 15 minutes until kick-off for today's quarter-final in the Champions League. City taking on Atletico Madrid at 8 p.m. Now, we know what your prediction is already, but before we ask you, gents, we're going to just have a little bit more pondering time, and then we'll make a serious thought about it. We know 3 changes from the team that beat Burnley at the weekend, Shaun. In terms of the team, how are you feeling about the defence in particular to start with Diaz obviously still not playing, Walker suspended? What are you making of the back four?
I still think he's quite strong. When Stones has played him right back, I thought he's done really, really well. He's been excellent at tucking into that holding midfield area to kind of slow down counter-attacks coming through the centre, which then they kind of seem to guide them wide, and then it gives them people time to get back. So I think that works out well, and it kind of always frees up Cancelo a bit more, because we're going to be more heavily going down the left, especially from the fullback area. So in that respect, I think it will help us and protect us, especially on the counter-attack, because we know we're always going to have 3 or 4 people back defending. So for me, I'm happy with it.
In terms of the midfield there, Trevor, who are you most excited about? Who do you think is going to thrive the most this evening?
Well, it's difficult not to be excited about Kevin De Bruyne in any game. You know, he surprises us at times with his brilliance, but it's just his high level of consistency. His creativity never goes missing, and he might lose the ball a lot of times compared to some of the other players, but that's because he's always trying things. He always sees pictures. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. But again, you know, Bernardo Silva, he's just a player that I really like. I like his spirit, the way he plays the game, his tenacity for such a short guy. You know, he's not got a lot of physical presence, but he's clever. He nicks the ball off someone's touch. He'll show someone a passing lane and intercept it. And when he gets on the ball, you know, he's second to none. He's very brave on the ball. So that midfield's very strong, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them link up with the forwards and rotate well and create a lot of opportunities.
And where are you expecting the 4 goals from, David? Who do you think is going to be getting them tonight?
Yeah.
Detail.
Well, yeah, I mean, Sterling, Silva, Mahrez, KDB. Yeah. I just think there'll be a lot of... I go back to the freshest game, and the thing about the Burnley game, which was so impressive, was how City started that game. There was one chance from very early for Burnley, which has to be recognised. But that first half an hour was City playing proper football against a team that can have an organised defence. So I'm just anticipating more of that, which includes, obviously, KDB, Sterling. And I just think that Silva, like Trev says, I mean, Bernardo Silva, if he's in the mood tonight, then anyway, I don't care. Gundogan can score again. I mean, I'm giving 3 goals to Atletico in my predictions.
I don't know why you're doing that.
Well,
why do you want to make it so tight?
No, I'm being realistic. I can be Man City silly here and just say it's going to be 5-0. But I know that Atletico can score goals, and that's my concern. And everything that we say about City positively, Atletico have got that quality in the side to cause it a problem. I think City win the game no matter what. I just need to see 90 minutes of the Burnley game just to make sure, and then I'll be happy to be wrong and you can be right with your 1-0 ball game.
I weren't gonna. He said 1-0, not
1-0. Hold on, you can keep
I haven't even said
You're
mine.
Hang on, sorry.
I'm not asking you yet.
The big concern I've got is if Carr comes on.
Okay, why?
Because that guy's good. I'm surprised he hasn't started.
Are you worried about our defence, or are you just more confident in their attack?
Well, they might not have the pace, which is one thing, but pace doesn't win you game in football. It's a skill on the ball. Griezmann's skillful, Felix is skillful, Llorente, and as I say, Carrera's skillful. If Suarez goes on, he's just there to mess things up. That's all I think. And if he goes on, seriously, either they're desperate or they're going to try and hold on to something. That's the way that I see Simeone sort of lining Suarez up in this match.
Just going off what Shaun said earlier, I actually think we're almost playing like a 3-4-3. I think John Stones will play as almost like a right centre half, and then you've got Ake in the middle, Laporte on the left, or Laporte in the middle and Ake on the left, and Cancelo might just go into that midfield and make a 3-4-3. And I think if we do that, especially if we've got a lot of the ball and dictating play, I think we'll be on the front foot. And when we lose the ball, we've got players closer to winning it back, more players closer. So I think John Stones might just slip in there as a third centre half.
I'm going to get your guys' predictions in a minute and see if David sticks with his. But first of all, we did chat to some fans earlier in the week in the shop, and we asked them for their match predictions.
Can I get a score prediction from you? 4-1. 4-1? Yeah. Over the 2 legs or just tomorrow? No, just tomorrow.
I'm expecting City to get a win, but I think it'll be quite an open game. And I'm going to go, I think, 3-1 City. What do you think?
5-1.
5-1? 5-1. Over 2 legs.
That's a 2-0.
It's a European match. It brings a bit more volatility to it because the away fans make a lot of noise. And these lads from Atletico will definitely make a lot of noise.
I think City will win 3-1 tomorrow.
I think 2-1 Man City.
Can I get a score prediction from you?
I'd like to see 2-0 for City, obviously, yes.
I'd like to think it'll be a comfortable win, but I'll take a 1-0 because I think we will score over there.
I think it'll be 3-0 City, if I'm being honest. I'm not worried at all about the game. I was more nervous for Burnley away, if I'm being honest.
Can I get a match prediction from you?
City by an odd goal. I think they're going to have to come out of the traps very quickly. If we can hopefully get a couple of early goals, certainly one in the first 10 to 12 minutes, put a different complexion on the matter. I think it rather depends. I mean, if Simeone is happy just to accept a 1-0 defeat and go back to Madrid and try and overturn it there, then it's going to be difficult.
It's the first Champions League game I've been to for Man City, so I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, we're going to the game. We're down from Scotland, so we're come down to hospitality. So there's 6 of us here, so we'll be there tomorrow and just did the tour, and we can't wait for the game. We're all buzzing for it.
From where we were, where we've been, this is unbelievable. As a fellow colleague of yours would say, these are great days to be a Blue.
Oh, I love that, and I hope that the fans that have travelled from around the world for the game today are having a fantastic time. Right, it's time to push you guys for a score. Shaun?
3-1, I think.
And what do you think over the 2 legs?
Then I think it will stretch to 4-2.
Oh, okay. Okay, 3-1. Trev?
I'd like to see a 2-0. I think keeping a clean sheet, Edison, obviously the back 4 or 3, whatever it might be. Couple of goals, nice little cushion going over there for the second leg, so I'd be very happy with that. Second leg, I think we can manage the game and probably nick it 1-0, 3-0 overall.
I'm not just saying this. This is exactly my prediction that I gave to my Liverpool supporting friend earlier. 2-0 today, 1-0 over there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going for.
Listen, if you're going to manage the game properly, and I think you know the way Pep teams play, they want them to play that way, so they control the game. He wants to control the game, so 2-0 would be perfect. Not overexerting yourself, because we know we've got a big game on Sunday, and then going over there, nicking a goal, no risk, no jeopardy in the game, just doing enough to get through the 90 minutes and get ourselves into the semi-final.
David, are you sticking with your...
Yeah, what I want to happen, if there's wants and
fair play,
or what I need to happen, what I want to happen, Man City would win 2-0. I think that's achievable. But what I've seen and the quality in that Atletico side, I think 4-3 is achievable. As long as City win, I don't care.
Seriously, this game is 4-3. I don't even know what I'm going to think about it.
Yeah, but over the 2 legs, I mean, again, I'm so confident that City will win over 2 legs anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So that was the predictions from our guests. Thank you very much for joining me, Shaun, Trevor, David. They will be with me at half-time as well. The teams are there in the tunnel. They are starting to come out now. Get your commentary for the game on the Manchester City app with the wonderful Alistair Mann. We'll be back at half-time, hopefully talking about some City goals. It's over to you, Alistair.
Thank you, Natalie. So, 4 huge games, 3 different competitions, 2 very different but challenging opponents. City's next quartet of matches will be pivotal in determining which silverware will be adorning the Etihad Stadium trophy cabinet. Tonight, it's the Champions League quarter-final for